Hey guys, oh my gosh, welcome to my, actually this is not my first live broadcast on the TriRight coaching page. This is actually my second. But I decided that I was going to take all of my triathlon tips and tricks and training suggestions onto the TriRight coaching page so as not to bombard all of my friends who don't do triathlons with all of our nonsense. So thank you so much for hopping in. My name is Coach MJ Gasik. I am a professional triathlon coach. I've been a professional coach for 9 years now, and I've done over 100 triathlons. I started triathlon in 2003, much by accident. But hey Jennifer, hey Lara, hey Jim, you guys, thanks for hopping in. Tonight's topic is transition tips. And transitions, you guys, are like what I like to call free speed, because you can make up a lot of ground on people in transitions, especially if the other person doesn't know what they're doing. So, hey Jennifer, thank you. Hey, Lara, yes, awesome, thank you. I hope you're feeling good after today's race. And I will tell you guys, I am exhausted from today's race. I didn't even race, but like cheering when you do it MJ style, it's exhausting. It's a lot of work. Hey Dawn, thanks for hopping in. So tonight's bonus. You go to http://www.trirightcoaching.com/bonus. You're going to get these tips and more, a little checklist of all the things that you need to do that you can print out and use over and over and over again when you practice transitions for your next event. So there you go. That's how you download it. Frozen. Uh-oh, are you frozen, Jen? My screen's not frozen. Anyway, the first tip, number one, is to know where your bike is. And it sounds so like, yeah, of course, MJ, I know where I'm going to put my bike. But let me tell you a little story. And I wasn't, thanks Jim for letting me know. I wasn't even a new triathlete when this happened to me. I think I'd been doing tries for maybe 3 years or something. And I went to this little triathlon. And when I say little, it was like 500 people. It was an Olympic distance in Terre Haute, Indiana. And I got all caught up in talking with all my friends and the people there, and I'm talking before the race and walking around, and I never actually mapped out the transition area. So when I came out of the swim, I didn't remember where I put my bike. And I ran up and down the same aisle 5 or 6 times, and volunteers started yelling to me, hey, what can we help you find your bike? What's your bike look like? I'm like, you guys, it's black. Well, they all look black. They're all, you know how many black bikes there are? There's a ton. So that didn't help me. And it's my own fault. Because what you should do, after you set up your transition stuff, and when I mean that, I mean, you put your bike, you put your nutrition on, you set up your things underneath, which we're not even going to get into today. That is for the transition clinic I'm going to do later this month. But after you set your things up, go through and do what I like to call a walkthrough of the transition area. And what that means is go to the swim exit, right? You enter somewhere. Sometimes you enter and exit the same spot. Sometimes you don't. Go to the swim exit and walk out and go directly to your bike and count the number of rows over, the number of bikes or racks down that you have to go. And remember that. And you can look for different landmarks. And I will also tell you this mistake. Look for landmarks, guys, things that don't move. One triathlon I did, I was like, oh, I'm right at the end of the aisle with the garbage can at the end. Well, they moved that garbage can while I was in the water. So I didn't, and don't look at the bikes next to you, because you never know whose bike is going to be left when you come back. So look at trees, look at buildings, things that are not going to move. But so you go from swim exit to find your bike. Then go to bike in, not bike out. Again, sometimes they're on completely different sides of the transition area. Go to bike in, act like you're coming in with your bike, and find your bike again. So that it makes it so much easier when actually during the race you're looking for your stuff. Hey Amanda, hey Vicky, and you can't see it. You can't see what? Hey Morgan, hey Darlene, hey Bobby, thank you. Oh yeah, you guys, share this video. If you share this video today, you get to win. You are entered in a raffle to win a transition towel. And I'll explain to you the importance of a towel I'll explain to you the importance of a good transition towel. It's not even on my checklist. It's on the freebie. It's on the bonus. There's a lot of extra stuff on the bonus. I can't write it all down here, you guys. It's too much stuff. But if you share this video, you'll be entered in a raffle to win this brightly colored transition towel, and I'll tell you why you want to do that. But all you have to do is share the video to be entered in the raffle for that. You're good, Nora. Are you? What does that mean, Nora? You're getting nothing. Getting nothing like it's not moving? Oh, so sorry, guys, if this isn't working right. So you want to know where your bike is. Number 2 is to practice. And I think a lot of triathletes skip this step because they think, oh, it's just transitions. It's not a big deal. You can lose a lot of time in transitions, a lot of time. And let me tell you this. I tell this story all the time, and sorry if you've heard this before. But there was one race that I did where I actually beat the woman by 1 second in the overall race. 1 second. You guys, 1 second. I was ahead of her on the swim. She beat me on the bike. And then I had to run her down. That sounds funny because I'm not that strong of a runner. So I ran her down and I saw her and I waited to the last quarter of a mile to run her down, to slam it in there just to get past her. And I knew she was right behind me. I knew she was cooking. Anyway, 1 second. When I went back and looked at the results, that woman actually beat me in the race. You know where I beat her? Transitions by 1 minute and 30 seconds. Had our transitions been equal, I wouldn't even have seen her on the run. I would have never been able to run her down. 1 minute and 30 seconds. I only beat her by 1 second. So it's just practice, practice, practice. And oh, here's another really fun story. So when I was new and I had to practice transitions, I actually have a pool in my backyard. And I would put on my wetsuit and I set up a little transition area in my garage and I would swim. I would just get wet. I wouldn't really do an actual swim. My pool's tiny. So I do a little swim. I get all wet. I hop to my bike. I do a transition. I ride my bike around the block, put my bike down, transition really fast again, put my run things on, and run around the block again. And my neighbors think I'm crazy, but I don't really care because I was practicing my transitions and I got really good at them. So, hey, Dawn. Hey, Susie. You guys, thanks for hopping on. Hey, Robert. Hey, Jackie. Okay, so that is number 2, is that you must practice. You must practice transitions. Not just a bike to run brick, guys. That's important too, but that's a workout. That's not even transitions. I don't consider transition practice a workout. But for those of you doing that Muncie triathlon, it's an Olympic, I think, next weekend, you better start practicing those transitions because if you haven't done 1 or 2 in a year, in 8 months since we all were racing, you're going to be rusty. Practice them now. You're not able to watch, Darlene. Why? Jump in your... Dawn, you're so funny. But yes, okay. And number 3 is to pack in advance. And I don't know if I've given this to you guys before, but I actually have several triathlon checklists. I have one for sprints, one for Olympics, one for half Ironmans, and one for Ironmans because I take different stuff to each of those races. And then I pack according to those. And I don't wait until the day of or the day before to start packing that stuff. I just dedicate a little space in my house just to start throwing things in there. Like if I did my last swim workout, I'm not going to go swim anymore before the race. I'll just throw my goggles maybe in that corner, or I'll throw my triathlon kit in that corner, in that little pile, and then go through the checklist. More than once. The last thing you want to do is to arrive to your venue without something that you need, something that you want, whether it be a race belt, whether it be your nutrition, maybe it's a spare tube that you need in case you get a flat tire. You guys, you just don't want to risk it. First of all, it stresses you out. And number 2, what if they don't have what you need? Right? So make sure that you make a good checklist, go over it. I used to remember, I'd start walking through my house and just okay, try top, try shorts, socks, shoes, sunglasses, helmet, whatever. I would go through it over and over. It became memorized in my head. But if you use the checklist and go through it, you're less likely to forget things. And the number 1 thing you don't want to forget, I think, is nutrition, because you never know what someone else has. with some expo has, and some races, those smaller ones, don't even have really big expos. So you're not going to find anything. And let's just say it's the race is on a Sunday. You get to your venue on a Saturday, 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and you can't find a bike shop or a tri-store. Maybe they don't even have one because it's in some podunk city or whatever. Or if it's closed, you don't want to risk it. It's just too stressful. Hey, Jennifer. Yes, that's exactly why you have a pool. Well, it helps anyway. Okay, so practice. Oh, if you want to win, today's giveaway is the transition towel. This is a really good giveaway, you guys. I can't believe more of you are not sharing this video. But all you have to do is share the video. I am going to raffle off that towel. I will send it to you. You don't even have to come to see me to get it. Okay, number 4 is to know your race number, and this is important. So for those of you who are new to triathlon, you'll have a bib, a race number with your bib. You will have it typically on your helmet, you'll have it on your bike, and then you'll have it body marked. So they will draw it on your arms and legs in permanent marker. But the thing with that is when you're wearing a wetsuit, they can't see that number. So a lot of times, again, this is smaller races, not Ironman, you guys. It's not even 70.3, not any of these big WTC races. They got that stuff together. But in your smaller races, which there are plenty, and they're great races, you may come out of the water and they want to know what your race number is because they need to account for every single person that went in. So I remember coming out one time and they're yelling at me, what's your number, what's your number? I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to take my wetsuit off to look at my arm. I don't know what my number is. You know how many races I do? They're all confused up in there. So you want to know your race number so that you can yell it to whoever might be tracking the swimmers coming out at the end of the swim portion, or even sometimes to try and find your bike. Sometimes the bikes are racked by numbers. It's much easier to find your bike if you know what number your bike is, right? So if this is rack 500 to 516, you know that, and you know you're 511, you know you're in that rack. So it's really important. It's helpful to know your number. Thank you, Jennifer. Hi, Carrie. Hey, Todd. Thank you guys so much for hopping in. Please do share this video. You can win this transition towel. Oh yeah, I need to announce last week's winner. Last week's winner, because if y'all haven't joined your master swim team yet, you might want to think about that. Last week's winner was the goggles. Who was that? Hold on, who was that? Yeah, that was Rebecca. Rebecca Ayala. Rebecca, if you're on this video, and a lot of you guys, because you hopped over to the TriRight page, a lot of these people I can see a lot have not hopped over yet. And so your chances of winning are actually much, much better because there was way more people watching on the personal page. So there you go. So that's number 4, is to know your race number. And then number 5, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Here's the last thing you want to do, is to come barreling into transition and fumbling things around, and you're dropping your shoes and you're knocking your bike over and whatever you're doing, you're like, first of all, remember that you're shaky coming out of the swim. And when you practice, you guys, and this is one thing I found, the difference between practice and a race. When I'm practicing, putzing around in the swimming pool in my backyard, and then going to my bike and going to my run, I'm not shaking. I'm just kind of just chill. I'm going through the motions, right? I'm just practicing. But when you just came out of a swim, whether it be a 400 or an 800 or a 0.9 or a 1.2 miles, you're shaky. Your hand, at least I am. I don't know. You just put forth a good effort. So you're not as stable. So when you are in practice, can stand on one leg and put that sock and shoe on, don't expect to do that in a race. Your adrenaline is pumped up. Your anxiety is a little higher. You are going to fumble with things around a little bit. And when that happens, you need to take a deep breath and slow down, because you are going to be better if you just take it slow, go one thing at a time. And one thing I do, in the practice part, I didn't even comment on this, but the night before every one of my races, I sit in, usually it's a hotel room, I'll sit in the hotel room with my helmet, on the bed, right? And then I'll stand there, put my helmet on clip, take it off. Put my helmet on clip, because did you ever see, okay, it was an Ironman, it was Kona, like a few years back, many years back maybe, and it was Chris McCormick, where he was, and he's a pro, you guys, he was like #1 in the world, and he's like cursing at his helmet, he can't get the clip on. Well, how many times do you think he practiced it? for that race, probably none. So that it kind of freaks me out a little bit. So always practice that. And here's another thing I do is I visualize it. So when I'm laying in bed before I go to sleep, because the night before a race, you're not really sleeping that much anyway, because you're all pumped up and excited. But I think, what is the order of the things that are going to go on? When I come out of that swim, the first thing I'm going to do is take my wetsuit off. Okay? What's the next thing I'm going to do? I'll put a sock on, if you use socks, right? And then I'm going to put shoes on. And then I'm going to put my sunglasses, then my helmet. And then I'm going to take my bike. But know that order and just watch it in your head. Do you ever hear that? Do you ever hear when people, like really good athletes, really successful athletes, visualize themselves crossing the finish line in a good time, feeling healthy, arms up, achieving that goal? It's the same thing, I think, with transitions. I just sit there and visualize. And the same thing, that's my bike. I come back. What am I going to do? I'm going to take off my helmet first. I'm going to leave my sunglasses on because I'm going to use those for the run. Then I'm going to take my one cycling shoe off, other cycling shoe, run shoe, grab my bib and my hat, and then I'm going to run. And then I'm going to put my bib and hat on as I'm running. I'm not going to do that in transition just to save time. So, hey, Morgan. Thank you, guys. 2012. 2012 was what? McCormick? No way, Jim. It was way before that. Way before. Maybe like 2009, 8. It was a long time ago. So, slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. You want to step back, take your time, breathe. You are going to be more efficient. It's more, okay. How many of you have seen somebody run out of the transition area and they still have their bike helmet on, right? And they have to run back to transition and take that off. If you just would have slowed down, okay, am I good? Got everything? Oh, wait, no, my helmet, right? You're better off doing that than you are running out with your helmet on. And I've seen it. Yes, visualize. You're not shaky. When you exit the water, you usually fall. Jackie, okay, we have to talk about that, girl. We have to fix that. All right, guys, any questions you have? Last week, I already announced last week. Rebecca, this week, share this video. Share this video. Win this transition towel. Oh, I'll tell you guys really quick because there's just a small group of you on here tonight. One thing that you can do to make your transition area stand out is to use a brightly colored towel that nobody else will have. And instead of trying to look for a black bike, because they all look the same, you put this nice bright towel underneath, right? And then when you're running to your transition area, just look for the towel, look for the towel. The craziest thing you can find is generally the best thing, the right thing to do. So that's what you can use this towel for. And the reason I like this towel is because it actually has a race day checklist on it. I know all the words are backwards, guys, but it's got a checklist on it. So you don't even have to make your own checklist. It's built in right into the towel. All right. Hey, no, you're not a dork. Hey, Nora. Hey, Nora. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so next week, guys. Next week, mostly for beginners, is going to be planning for your race, right? Planning for your race. There are some things that you need to, or preparing. And I'm not talking about just training. Obviously you're training and hopefully, this is May, guys. If you're racing in June, you should be on a solid training program by now. So that part should be taken care of, but preparing for your race. So not just, what you need to do, swim, bike, run in order to get ready for the race, but what are you doing in the days and hours leading up to your event in order to help you have the most successful event that you can have. A lime green towel. Yeah, Dawn, it's a great idea. I always have a towel. Yeah, I don't even use the towel, guys. Sometimes if I have sand, people are always so worried about sand being on their feet when they get to their transition. Oh, and I need a bucket to wash my feet. No, you do not need a bucket. You do not need to wash your feet because all that sand is going to fall off. And if it doesn't, just take your foot and rub it on the towel and then put your socks and shoes on because you don't have time to be putting your foot in a bucket. And there's typically no room. But next week, preparing for your race. And I'm going to give you another journal. I have another journal to schedule to help you. It's just color-coded, all this cool stuff to help you plan out for your race. Because a lot of times, guys, I still am a big fan of not just typing stuff out, but writing it, because when I write things out, I tend to remember better than if I'm just typing it into the computer. So I do still like to hand write a lot of things down to help me remember. So, all right. Hey, Mark, thank you so much. Thank you, Mark, for hopping in, but I'm just about to get off. Hey, guys, any questions that you have before I do get off tonight? I know I was pretty fast tonight. I do hope you all share this video. I'm hoping to grow this audience up here on this TriRight coaching page bigger and better than it was on my personal page. I had a lot of people complaining, believe it or not, who don't do triathlons, complaining about, why are you always talking about triathlon on your personal page? Well, because it's what I do. But that's why I brought it to the coaching page. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. And last time, if you want to win this transition towel, and it's still really a really cool towel, brightly colored, it's got a checklist built in for you. All you have to do is share this video next week. I will raffle off one lucky winner of that towel and send it out to you. And then I'm going to talk next week about how to prepare for your race in the days and hours leading up to your event to help you have the best event possible for you. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. TriRightCoaching.com/bonus. You will get all of these, but there's much more on the bonus part because I can't write all of it down on this little like whiteboard, you guys. The bonus is really good this week. It's got these tips, but it's also have a checklist and things that you need to think about and remember. Has a little more detail than this. It's a downloadable PDF that you can save to your computer. You can print it out, review it before each race. It will help you out. At least I think. You love the bright color? Yeah, Nora. Yeah. Leave shoes off bike. Yes. Well, Jim, I think a lot of these people, most of these people I think on here are new. I know. I never clip on my shoes. No. If you're not perfect at it, don't do it. But if you're here local to Chicago, right, Jim, we're going to do this transition clinic. I hope you're going to be better by then. May 22nd. It's a Monday. So like 2 weeks from tomorrow? Yeah. 2 weeks from tomorrow, May 22nd, it will be in Homer Glen, a transition clinic where you will bring your bike and your shoes and your run stuff. And you will go through, we'll first talk about it, we will demonstrate it, and then we'll give you time to practice and give you tips on how to set up your transition area, how to execute, and give you some time to practice executing your transitions. So we will help you through that whole process. Clinic right here in Homer Glen if you're local to Chicago. So, hey, Trana. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for hopping in. Please share the video to win the transition towel. Please go down to go to TriRightCoaching.com/bonus to download this week's bonus, which is a PDF with these tips, but so much more on how to help you have better, more effective, smooth, fast transitions, just to help you guys get the best out of yourselves. So I came up with a new slogan. I'm going to use this new one now. I used to do all about be a better athlete, right? But now it's all about you're one try away from your best race. How about that? Okay? Thank you guys so much for hopping in. I appreciate all you guys spending a little bit of your time with me on a Sunday night. And I will see you next week here on the TriRight coaching page. For the topic will be preparing for your race. So thank you guys so much. Have a great night and see you next week.